graduate student that works with the INBRE grant.
How did you become involved with the INBRE grant?
I was offered the graduate assistant position that was created to help with the INBRE grant, and that's how I started.
What were your expectations going into the project?
I really had no expectations going into the project. I just knew it was going to be a learning experience all around. I've never been involved with a research project like this, so I had no idea what to expect.
Was the end experience anything like you expected?
Needless to say, I've learned a lot throughout this process. I didn't have high expectations going in, so whatever I learned, I just took and ran with. Everything from the beginning parts of the IRB, informed consent, all of that, to data collection and running the stats, and it's just a whole new experience.
What was your role in the research project?
My role was one of the head researchers. I helped form all of the documents, helped with all the preparation. I helped with the recruitment process. I set up all of the documents online. I was the data collector, main data collector. I ran the tech scan program and administered all of the testing. So I sat through 50 subjects with the tech scan, and I also tested for the best. I also input all of the data that comes out of tech scan, and I ran all of the stats with that data.
What did you learn in that position?
I learned what to do and what not to do, and made sure to take notes for the next person that comes in to help with this grant. Everything was a learning process, so if it worked one way, then I tried not to change it, but if it didn't work, then I had to go back and fix it. For example, with the data collection sheets, there was some issues with the elder data, so I took notes from that, and I learned how to put the video numbers in, so if there was a problem with the video, if it was saved under the wrong person, I could go back and easily find the video and actually have the data, rather than have a person have missing data because it was misfiled. And I made sure to write manuscripts about how to find all of this data and all of the documents, so everything should be all set.
Alright, what did you learn about the grant process?
I learned a lot about the grant process. I learned how to budget the money that we were given. There were different categories on how much we could spend, and there was deadlines on when we had to spend it by, so I was in charge of the budget as well. I learned how to write an informed consent, how to do an IRB, and I took the course on that as well. I learned how to run stats. I had never really known how to run ICCs or correlations or anything like that. And I also just learned about the tech scan, mat scan system to begin with, because I was never introduced to this prior to my start with the grant. What I found difficult was the data collection process, because first of all, subject recruitment is the hardest part overall. Trying to get people to come in for 3 days a week for an hour each time was a challenge, especially just because they were athletes. Typically they had class during the day, and then they had their sport if they were in season, or they had workout or something like that. So that was the hard part, but also time management with that, because not all subjects could come in back-to-back times, so it would just make for a long day. I had to plan out what I was going to do for the day, how long it was going to take to input the data after the person came in, and things like that. It was just pretty much time management and figuring out how much time I would have to spend doing a certain task.
What will you take away from this project?
I will take away the entire experience. I again, had no expectations about this, so everything that I did, I learned throughout this project. I learned how to write a manuscript as well, learned how to make posters for presentations. It's just a learning process.
How will being involved with this project help you professionally in the future?
I am a certified athletic trainer right now, and I had no prior research background, so if I do want to continue and go on for my doctorate, this will be a great door opener. I did have an opportunity to help with a UNH project using the MAT scan, and I'm going to be able to present at a poster presentation. So for the athletic training background, it may open the door for my further education and further research topics.
What was enjoyable?
What was enjoyable throughout this was meeting all of the students, being a graduate student and not going to undergraduate at Plymouth. It was interesting to meet these undergrads per se and see where they're from, get a background, get a history, and get their reviews about what the project was like for them. They didn't always think that balance was so hard as they did when they walked out the door.
What could have you done better?
At times, communication could have been better between the worker students and myself. At times, it was just easier for me to do things by myself, so I think I took on a little bit more than I needed to, but it got done all in the same.
Do you have a message to any other interns?
The message would be to come in expecting to learn a lot and just be open to new experiences and be willing to try new things. I didn't know how I was going to like working with research to begin with, but I really like it, and it's just a good lesson to learn.
My name is William Eisler. I'm a double major in nursing and applied health fitness. I got involved with the INBRE grant with Dr. McCann about 2 years ago. She contacted Dr. King, who's the primary investigator, and I started working for the grant. And I did the elder research project last year with another researcher, Marie Trommelach, and this year I've been working with Precious to work on the athlete.
What were your expectations going into this project?
Being that I was here last year and did the elder research, I expected it to be hard, and I expected it to be difficult to get 50 participants. But I noticed that it was a lot easier to get 50 participants from the school than it was to get older adults. So, I mean, it wasn't easy to get them, but you had a bigger pool to choose from.
Was the end experience anything like you predicted?
The end experience was not anything like I predicted. I've gotten a lot of good experience in presenting and just communicating with people, so it's been a great experience and one that I definitely don't think many people at Plymouth State get the opportunity to have, so I'm definitely grateful for the experiences that I've gotten.
What was your role in the research project?
My role this year in the research project was not as much as in the elder. Precious did a lot more this year. I just was there to spot, and I helped with just any organizational work and documents and just things like that, but Precious really took the reins on this project, and I just helped organize and make it easier So I learned a lot in doing this project. I've learned a lot about research and doing scientific posters and presenting them. I've also learned how to use different programs such as EndNote and you find lit resources and how to transfer them and all things like that. So I've learned a lot of software and I've learned just a lot of time management skills and being able to juggle a bunch of things at once.